Hey guys, Instructor Pilot Chris. As you see here tonight, we have the Blade CP235, an absolute amazing helicopter. I haven't flown this thing in about a month, actually since 4th of July. And I was looking at it and I said, hey, you know what? I've really been enjoying flying at nighttime. So far I've flown the Wacko, I've flown the Ultrex, and now hopefully I'll fly this helicopter here tonight. Flying at night's a lot of fun. If you haven't done it, if you have a safe place to try, I highly recommend you try it. So I will share that this is an excellent beginner aircraft or helicopter. This is my first, actually it's my second helicopter. I started with the Blade Nano and quickly got this one. I will share with you that do not be deceived. When you have your safety on, your gyro operating, it is super easy and you're gonna have a false sense of security thinking that you know how to fly a helicopter when in fact it's more like a drone where more or less you're kind of steering it around, but the onboard system is keeping it level, and it's again very easy, which is great. Do not become too dependent. That's a mistake I made before going and trying 3D. I thought it was super easy to fly when in fact it was the gyro helping me along. So do not stay in that setting too long. As you just saw, I was in the safe mode. As I shared, I hadn't flown in about a month, and so I wanted an easy flight. I will try this flight with the mode 2, which is the 3D capable. I'm not going to be trying 3D at night. I think that's a bad idea. However, it's going to be a lot more me flying than the helicopter. So more than anything, I just want to show that I'm stable. Maybe do some hovering in place at a specific altitude and things like that. So that's a really good example. I had been flying my Electro Streak and I confused the switches there. I had been flipping A, that's not the correct one. I need to be in B, and I have 0, 1, and 2. And so this is the one where I'll be changing the mode, and 2 being the 3D setting where, you know, safe is off. 1 and 2, it's a lot more you flying and turning safe off. All right, I do have another battery pack. I'm gonna try that again, but you can probably tell I got the safety on now. The throttle does not work. You can probably tell that one was not as smooth, and that's because the gyro is off. So again, don't be fooled into a false sense of security. It's definitely recommended as a new pilot to keep that safety on, but it's much more difficult, requires constant inputs with that safety off. There we go. Always have more than one flight pack. I've been seeing that on YouTube. I wanted to try it. I'll do it again. You can hear that change. I set it back to mode 1. Lower head speed. A lot more stable again, a lot easier to fly. How cool is that? That looks neat. Okay, I'm on 0 on B and 0 on top right. That means I got no throttle, so it's safe. So I'm still learning how to fly helicopters. Most of that flight was in mode 2. You could hear the higher RPM, where the helicopter is a lot more sensitive and just a lot more touchy, for lack of better words. A lot more control inputs. I will say that the last time I flew a helicopter was the Nano, and I crashed it several times because of bad muscle memory. I had been flying in mode 0, where this throttle setting would turn the throttle off. And so when I went to try 3D mode, I kept pulling the throttle down, and it would actually be a power setting for maximum down throttle instead of just reduced throttle. So you gotta be really careful that you don't sit in the 0 or gyro safe too long. You need to progress. Therefore, after this first flight where I was protected, it was safe because it had been a month, I then proceeded to fly under the mode 2, and I did not do anything crazy because it'd be a high likelihood of me crashing. So instead, it was just getting comfortable flying in mode 2. I think I'll be doing that for several flights, maybe just going away from me, back to me, maybe doing more tail inputs under better precision, better control, until I got a lot more comfortable with mode 2. And then, of course, when it's sunny, eventually I'll try 3D again. I have done 3D successfully with this helicopter. I'm not great at it, but I didn't start with the building blocks of working my way up to it. So I'm doing that now. I want to be safe, I want to be better, and I don't want to crash this cool helicopter. But if you've been looking at this helicopter, it's fantastic. Horizon just dropped I think it's the 210, which is also a great option. I think that one's currently about $300 because it's a new release. This one's closer to $270 for the bind and fly. I don't know, for a new person, I'd recommend this one for the price point, but just want you to know that it's out there. I hope you enjoyed watching the helicopter fly at night. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.